Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy. Without any further interruptions, enjoy the What If. Chapter 61. Fragments of the Past. Fragment 1. The Past, just after defeating Blood Snatcher, shared. Taesoon was leaning against a tree, panting as Fluffy stood over him, her hand glowing in the healing palm technique. She appears to look just as she does now, but a purple jacket was tied to her waist. Arg, what did that little freak do? Taesoon groaned. She shook her head. Keep your whining down, would you, Baka? I happen to be an expert healer, as you are quite aware. She, however, didn't look happy. Well then, it appears that little twerp's trick backfired, sort of speak. Taesoon looked confused. Backfired, Fluffy explained. He attempted to steal your Kekkei Genkai. Taesoon was shocked. Wait, I have a Kekkei Genkai. Since when? Fluffy sighed. You're hopeless. Anyways, but as he did, I happened to be around, so I intervened. Little freak didn't see it coming, and his attempt at a bloodline limit stealing seal reversed, sending all of his into you. Storm, Aura, Scorch, Ice, Lava, Wood and Crystal are now yours. However, it is at a price. Taesoon was now worried. Price? She looked sad. Your body's genetic structure has been damaged. The seal wasn't done properly, which would be disastrous with just one, but with 7, if you were alone, you'd die in less than a year painfully. However, at least with me, we can delay it, perhaps 12, 13 years tops, Taesoon sighed. Then, it looks like I'm going to have to set things right. But first, how to get home. Fragment 2. The Past, after the Uchiha and his little lackey's death, shared. The sky was raining, slight droplets of water crashing down on a ruined land. 2 giant stones stood in a grass field, all of them with fresh and beautiful flowers growing around them, most likely from a wood release jutsu. The older one was a rather spread out list of names, from across the village's history, who had died in battle. However, another, newer one stood next to it, which said plainly, to those who died, fighting against the village's greatest traitor. Several names were inscribed on it, far too freshly. Some of the last ones he appeared to have written himself, including his wife's name. She, who was freshly and only just minutes ago, buried by hand, with no clones. Tears crossed Taesoon's uncovered face, as he took note of several of them. A slightly senior ninja, age-wise, maybe by a year, who showed the superiority of training to natural talent. A slightly junior ninja, age-wise, who he had hoped to pass on his leadership to one day. His first sensei, who truly believed in him like no other. An in-law of his who he for a long time loathed, but he eventually came to hope as his future child's sensei. A steadfast friend, whose mother made Fluffy look tame. Another of his friends, who was loyal like a dog to all those close to him, and his best man at his wedding. His second sensei, who gave him several crucial skills, but may have done more damage than good. One of his few known family members in the village, who improved his team immeasurably. A steadfast person who he saw like a sister, after many, many foolish years, who suffered a horrible fate, beyond that of the rest. His third sensei, who while effective, tainted him with the curse of perverseness. But then again, did he know anyone who wasn't a pervert? His wife's sister, their wedding's flower girl. If it wasn't for her, his wedding would have been much more complicated. Hey, Fluffy's voice broke him out of his train of thought, as the rapturous red head grabbed his attention. She eyed the stones sadly as well. You seem to live in the past. Taesoon shook his head. No, I wallow in my failures. However, I didn't gain the name, the unpredictable, for nothing. Where there is a will, there is a way. He then looked away from the stone, to the ruined town that once was his home. Behold, nothing but the ugly end result of revenge, to prove what? What, I ask, everything, is destroyed, Fluffy sighed. So, the old dumps totaled. So sad. She rose an eyebrow. So, what's there left to do? It ain't like you can salvage this. He gazed at the lowering moon, or rather, where the moon would be on this moonless night. I can't, that's true. Even I can see what tasks are physically impossible. But, I think I know someone who can. A place to rebuild, Fluffy grinned. Just remember the deal. Fragment 3. The Past, a prison, Fluffy. How did this happen? Where am I? My power. It appears to be restrained, but how? How? I ask. But, what is this feeling, inside of me? Could it be hatred? But to who? The Uchiha, or the Uzumaki? Fragment 4. The past, a different prison, Fluffy. A new prison, lovely. I find myself missing the old one. At least it was roomier. How did this transfer occur so swiftly? As to say I couldn't escape, oh well, at least those stupid eyes aren't around. Fragment 5. The past, a different prison, Fluffy. No. Not again. So close, I was going to be finally free to live my life. Damn the Uzumaki. Damn them, but why is it this prison appears to differ from the others? Its design, it more intricate than before, though the leg room improved. Thank Kami. But something is missing here, a certain something in the air. A vibe, perhaps, a vibe that's important, a vibe that I fail to know the name of. Fragment 6. The past, the same prison, Fluffy. Odd, I feel different than before. Did something happen? There was a large jolt just now, and the vibes. That vibe that this prison lacked before had returned. I have no idea when it really returned. It came slowly, really kicking off, after over a decade, really. But the vibe, it was suddenly painful, like the vibe's originator suffered a great blow somehow. But where does the vibe come from, and what's this feeling? The break in the vibe, I suddenly feel, I don't know how to describe it. I feel as though pained, but not physically, something different. Somehow, I feel pain like never before and the urge to heal it. But where does this pain originate? Fragment 7. The past, after Fragment 1, shared. Why should I trust you? Taesoon questioned Fluffy. Said girl smirked darkly. You're right, you shouldn't trust me. I don't trust any of you little Uzumakis, none of them at all. She turned her back towards him, before looking over it, her red locks being blown by the breeze. But, do you trust them? If you do, then perhaps, you can grow to trust me. And possibly, for me to trust you, Taesoon frowned. Well, I guess we are stuck together, no matter how much we dislike it. Fragment 8. The past, before Fragment 2, shared across the skies, lightning shook, as two duos of powerful warriors clashed violently, each group seeking the absolute defeat of the other. The wasteland of a destroyed land lay before them. Is this what you wanted? All of this pain, all of this destruction. Is this worth your revenge? Oh yes it is, oh yes it is. It's a feeling, only someone who has truly suffered can feel. The two warriors continued to clash, Uzumaki and Uchiha. Meanwhile, their two girls, one a sexual partner, the other a loyal companion, fought by the strikings of fists. Fire release. Great fireball technique. Thunder release. Beast wave palm. The two attacks collided violently as the two were forced back, before they flew straight at one another again. The Uchiha's fist was blocked by the arm of the Uzumaki, the knee of the Uchiha blocked the kick of the Uzumaki, neither gaining advantage over the other at any true rate. Fire release. Great fireball technique. Another fireball was launched at Taesoon. Ice release. Protective ice dome. A dome of ice was formed around Taesoon, blocking the fire attack. Amartaresu. Dark flames burst across the stone, rapidly approaching the ice dome. Taesoon, however, wasn't going down without a fight. Wood release. Wood release. Four pillars house technique. Taesoon created a house of wood chakra, raising through the ice dome as the flames began to strike the ice. Breaking free, he used chakra to leap into the air as the house caught fire, using the time in the air to gather the chakra of nature. Sage mode. Taesoon yelled, high in the air. This was his last year, he wouldn't fail now. Senjutsu. Wind release stream. He blasted a huge column of air towards the Uchiha, before landing safely out of the fire's reach. However, the Uchiha wasn't done yet, as the thunder above them crackled. However, the Uchiha just cackled evilly. Fluffy couldn't help but chuckle. One of her friends, sort of speak, had damaged his mind before her death. Hence, his slight mental issues. Foolish. You cannot defeat me, old friend. Once I defeat you, it will be all the sweater. And I'll enjoy your little friend there, for after all, she's the final piece of my puzzle. Now prepare to die, by the ultimate lightning release technique. And only made more powerful, by being cast by the most powerful of shinobi, myself. Fragment 9. Present, Suna, Fluffy lay on the roof of a Suna building, observing the clear skies, and the endless expanse of the heavens above them. To all the constellations, that only required the slightest of thought to find. If only she could see more than the Big Dipper. They had little time left, for Taesun doesn't have much longer. Truth be told, even if he had Tsunade as his companion for so long, he could only have hoped for an additional month. To gain those Kekkei Genkei as he did, was a blessing and a curse. A blessing as they would never have defeated that despicable duo without them, or many of their other foes. In fact, only one foe ever managed to beat them since then, a man of powerful skill. A man who lives, quite far away, a man who gave them the idea for their plan to begin with. And whose sealing skills were perhaps as grand as their own. But a curse, as it is slowly killing them, and she didn't even have the ability to freeze people's balls off for the heck of it. But he did, her love. If only he loved her back, but, sadly, he is too noble a person to just go with her, just for being sort of like his wife. But, it still didn't hurt to dream of passion. Dream of love, dream of what she had only seen, and never felt. Chapter 62. Choices Along Water. The dreams of one Hyuga. A swirling maelstrom was engulfing our young Hyuga, spinning around like a cloths washing machine. This was quite odd. Normally, her dreams had naked, sexy Narutos. And the occasional extra girl. Sometimes she had to wonder if Aurora release increased her clan's perversion. Her dreams had also continued to diversify, as she recalled her dream records. Naruto and her normal, 25 Naruto and her Naruto dominant, 7. Naruto and her, she dominant, 5 Naruto and her, Naruto using shadow clones, 6. Naruto, her and Haku, 12 Naruto, her and Fu, 12 Naruto, her, Fu and Haku, 12. Naruto, her, Fu, Haku, slave Sakura, 3 Naruto, her, Tayuya, 10. Naruto, her, Isaribi, 10 Naruto, her, Tenten, 7 Naruto, her, Tayuya, Isaribi, 6. Naruto, her, Tenten, Tayuya, 3 Naruto, her, Fu, Haku, Tenten, Tayuya, Isaribi, 8. Naruto, her, Samui, 2 Naruto, her, Kuretsuchi, 1 Naruto, her, Samui, Kuretsuchi, 1. Of course, then some of the dreams really started getting weird. Even for her, where girls who never even showed liking Naruto got involved. Naruto, her, Ino, 1 Naruto, her, Anko, 2 Naruto, her, Hana, 1. Naruto, her and Sakura, of all things, 2 Naruto, her, some black-eyed, purple-haired princess-looking person, 1. Naruto, her, some brown-haired girl with a lot of colorful princess-like cloths, well until she ditched them anyway, insert perverted chuckle, 1. Naruto, her, the actor who played Princess Gale, 1. Naruto, her, the 3 above girls, 1 Naruto, her, Hanabi 2. Naruto, her, some redhead who could rival Tsunade, Sakura, Haku, 1. Naruto, her and the aforementioned redhead, 2 Taesun and Fluffy, oddly without her are Naruto-kun, 1. Partially demonic Naruto and Fu, vampire her, Anko, Haku, Tenten, that sound genin from the exams, 1. Naruto, her, some light blonde-haired female with sparkly purple eyes that appeared on occasion and could sort of rival her in the chess department, though she still won, 1. Naruto, her, some older blue-haired chick, 1 Naruto, her and Samui's aunt, 1. Naruto, her, Samui's aunt, Fu, 1. Frankly, she was sort of feared if her dreams got even weirder. She didn't need to dream about the Hokage, or her mother, or something else of equal horror. But this dream, it didn't have any sexual overtone. How disappointing. Anyways, she continued to be dragged down the spiraling vortex, seeing more and more strange sights. A giant armada of mutant humans with white, cracked skin. A beautiful girl with long blue hair and a nice purple jacket, practicing some sort of giant glowing fist jutsu. Hinata wished she was that confident. And apparently she had an even larger chest than she did. That Taesun guy fighting some crazy, fire-shooting nut job. A colder, Older Sasuke fighting against that strange old person she saw on occasion with the bandaged eye, though the bandages were removed. A giant, blue shuriken slamming crossing a crater, a rather horrifying set of heads on the Hokage monument. The crazy snake ladies and that weird man who taught her cousin. A giant mass being blown away and crashing into the ground. Said giant mass was cursing a lot. That red head from her dream confronting a odd, black-skinned, mutant freak of some sorts. Haku being cut in half, the nine tails charging up a giant black ball. Shino being lit on fire, a maimed Lee, devoid of his leg warmers, and eyebrows. Suna ablaze in black flames, a leveled Iwa, a crazed, muscled, dark-skinned man who sort of looked like that odd rapping guy elbowing a dark-skinned mutant freak with orange hair, and sending him 100 yards into a wall, leaving a huge crater. The fourth Hokage fighting a man with an orange mask. Beep, beep, beep. Hinata groaned, waking up to the evil alarm clock in her room. She groaned, feeling unsatisfied. However, Hanabi had borrowed all her readings, something about planning the future or whatnot, so thus she was left high, dry, and about as frustrated as a bound Jiraiya in a hot spring hosting the Kunoichi swimsuit calendar shootings. Later, Hokage's office. Hinata, to her delight Naruto, Tayuya and Tenten were in the office of the Sannin Hokage, Tsunade. Tsunade appeared, annoyed somewhat, to the worry of her assistant, Shizune. Naruto motioned to the scowling Hokage. Shizune shook her head, but appeared annoyed. She caught Jiraiya-sama at the hot springs, looking into the one with her and myself. Begrudgingly, he is currently in the being treated for his injuries. Naruto shook his head, same old pervy sage. Alright, now ignoring my personal disputes, I have called you four here for a reason. As I believe you are all aware, there was political tension in the Land of Water's ninja population. The group nodded, but then Hinata brought up. Was. Tsunade nodded. Yes, recently the rebel forces, led by one Terumi Mei, have won and now are in control of the ninja villages, the civilian council's heads now removed. She chuckled darkly. Damn, if only that happened to our bastards, Tayuya grumbled. Naruto shrugged. Win some, lose some. Tsunade shook her head. Anyways, I have decided to recognize their legitimate takeover, so I've decided to send you four there to make the move official. I'd send it through the daimyo, but I don't exactly trust him. When she was young, and thus the daimyo as well, the now old bastard had flirted with her immensely. She rejected him a dozen times, before he tried to force a royal marriage of them for political reasons. After he pulled that, a no Sannin ban was decreed upon the capital city, for severe property damage and the cut-off of the royal line. The poor bastard was still trying to determine who would succeed him. At the same time, the daimyo generally were slow when it came to ninja-related matters. He'd move in little hurry to recognize the rebels' legitimate rule over Kurigakure. If I may ask, why are you sending me? Why not Kakashi-sensei, Asuma-sensei, hell even Guy-sensei? Tsunade smirked. The Godaime Mizukage is named Mei Terumi, a quite attractive woman, almost as attractive as me, she chuckled, though no one responded. She turned serious. Thus, I need the only sane ninja who will not stare at her like a piece of meat or try something. Naruto had a look of understanding, while Hinata and Tayuya shared a look. If that Mizukage tried to move on Naruto, politics be damned, she'd be taken care of. And what about us? Tenten asked her idol. Tsunade chuckled. Security, she said briskly. Tenten didn't know about the fox, and thus had no idea about the whole Akatsuki thing. Naruto may be skilled, but she wasn't going to take any risks. 3 Chunin-level guards were decent security without leaving the village at risk. Originally, I was going to ask Momoichi Haku to come along, however because of her past allegiance through her sensei, Momoichi Zabuza of the 7 Swordsmen of the Hidden Mist. Tenten was wide-eyed, hearing about one of her idols. She may be pressed back in, and I don't want to put her in such a situation. Instead, I have sent her in Fu on a S-rank mission. Naruto's eyes were wide. S-rank. Cool. What sort of thing are they doing? Blowing up a castle, fighting a sea serpent. What they really are doing. Land of Broccoli in a castle of the daimyo of the Land of Broccoli, whose daimyo was known to commonly use a group of mercenaries in fighting his rival, an allied nation of the Land of Fire known as the Land of Apples. These mercenaries wear black robes with red clouds. Erg, I feel humiliated, Fu groaned, in a girly dress of a court lady. Frilly and sort of show-offy, the two were stuck on an infiltrate and information-gathering mission, done via Fu's bugs and strategically placed microphones. Meanwhile, they were to discreetly aid the forces of the Land of Apples, such as Haku sending reports to them via rabbits and intercepting messages to the Akatsuki. However, the most dangerous element of the mission was the Daimo's single, lusty personality. Every night, he would invite a court lady or two into his chambers, something Fu and Haku had no interest in. After all, there was little doubt what happened in there, judging by some of the bulges a few of the court ladies had. If he tried to make a move on them, mission be damned or not, one Daimo would find himself unable to reproduce. Of course, they had a secondary objective here, given to them by Tsunade herself. Apparently, the previous Daimo had acquired a few spoils of war from the Land of Grapes some time ago, with a few aged bottles of fine wine hidden in the castle's wine cellar. Back to the Hokage's office. That's classified. Anyway, you are to embark immediately. And remember, anything foolish could jeopardize future relations between the two lands of fire and water. Tsunade yawned. Oh, by the way, Tenten, you're a weapons mistress, right? She nodded. Yes, well, I have no real use for this, so here, she tossed to Tenten the sword of the Thunder God, which Tenten eyed in wonder. The sword of the Thunder God, Naruto commented. Anyway, let's go. A few days later, the border of the Land of Water Kunoichi, with a green jacket and purplish hair, stood on the border of the island country's short foothold on the mainland. Behind her were two others, a tall boy with fiery red and orange hair and a shorter boy with grayish hair and purple eyes. So, this is the Land of Water, my homeland, the short boy commented. The taller boy appeared nervous. So much power is here, so many powerful people. Will I lose control? The taller lady shook her head. Yeah, well, we aren't here to sightsee, we are here to locate our objective. She eyed the shorter of the two children. Yukimaru-kun, we need to find your family's legacy. Its power is the only way to revive Orochimaru-sama. The taller boy was also in thought. Kimimaro-san, you disappeared here, looking for that power. I need to find you, before I lose control again. I don't want to be a monster. Their leader stared into the stars, as below similar stars a battle was about to begin. Elsewhere in the Land of Water, a pale man with a curse mark visible of his chest found himself staring down a lone Fluffy. Whoever you are, stand aside, the man said plainly. Fluffy chuckled. Let me think about it. No. Sorry Kagaya, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to kill you. Now normally, I'd be interested in just defeating you, take some samples, and then kill you, but frankly, your bone Kekkei Genkai is just creepy. I doubt I'd find anyone who'd actually want a kid who can do that, and Tycoon won't let me add any more Kekkei Genkai to him, for some reason. I mean, really, it doesn't speed his death up, and the world would be better off without you, or those Hyuga elders for that matter. Erg, sometimes I can't figure that blockhead out. With that, the two flew at one another. Also meanwhile, Land of Water as morning approached, Naruto found himself waking up, with the two openly infatuated girls sleeping bags next to his, and the third having blared herself to sleep. However, he really needed to pee. Not writing that after, relieving himself, Naruto got out, and as he exited from behind the trees, found himself face to face with Taesun. Yahhh. What are you doing here? Naruto yelled. Taesun shook his head, before using a warp seal to warp them a distance. As the warp ended, Taesun stepped away, leaving Naruto with choices. Naruto stood in a divergence of a forked road, under the gaze of Taesun. Behind him were three paths. One was marked with a red fedora hat that looked like it was Victorian, and a pair of orange goggles. This pathway led into the night that still lingered in the sky. On its opposite side was a path that had a shiny bronze sword, stuck to a tree with an orange shirt flapping in the breeze below it. The orange shirt had a Pegasus printed on it hung from it, the pathway going along the seaside and was bright with the rising sun casting great orange light. The final path had a Zamapato-like sword stuck in the ground, with an odd, sort of Anbu-like mask hanging on it. It stood in the middle of the earlier ones, with one side dark as obsidian, the other bright with light. What shall be your choice, Naruto-kun? I am curious, to which path will you walk? Will you use the power of the nine-tailed fox, above all others in your arsenal? Will you leave that power alone, and never touch it again? Or will you walk in between these extremes? Your answer, which path shall you follow? Why are you asking me this? Naruto asked. He shrugged. I have allowed you to grow at your own pace, alongside several friends, of which some carry benefits. It makes me wonder how you have grown, and also, to see what you choose to do. You're a rare shinobi with two true options he can follow as a path, with a third option that stands in between. Each power has its own advantages and disadvantages, of which you will discover on your own. Now choose. Naruto looked around. Wait, aren't you usually stalked by some nutcase with Tsunade Bachan like? Taesun sighed. If I did, she'd never have brought you here. Instead she had got you interested in having fun with your friends in some malicious way. Naruto shivered. Pervert. Taesun nodded. That she is, perhaps even more so than the perverted sage. Now then, choose. Naruto eyed each of the paths, before moving towards the middle path. Good, that's all I needed. Taesun warped him back via the seal. Chapter 63. Lonely Red Head, revived snake somewhere in the land of water. Taesun was leaning against a tree, his eyes closed as the sound of a warp seal going off, as Fluffy appeared, however she looked a mess. Giant slash marks covered her cloths, exposing a lot of skin. Now normally, a single guy staring at a girl with that much skin exposed, and as endowed as Fluffy was, would pass out from a nosebleed. The only exception being if the person was gay. However, Taesun was immune to Fluffy's perversion and looks, for other reasons. After all, if he had been stuck with her for 12 years, and Fluffy hadn't gotten laid, he had to have some tricks. Of course, Fluffy could get laid by any guy she really wanted to, but for some reason she only wanted Taesun. Though she still was a mistress of seduction, and torture on par with Anko, as poor Jiraiya discovered. Taesun only wished he knew where she got that, so, Kimamaru was harder than you thought. After all, here I'd think you'd know all too well the power of a Kagaya with the bloodline. Taesun said sarcastically. Long ago, they had fought a similar battle, that didn't end well at all. Fluffy huffed. That cursed seal was a nasty piece of work, though the tail was sort of overkill. What did that thing even do for him? She sighed. Ow, I'm so going to feel that tomorrow. Cha. Taesun then flinched. Tai-kun. He groaned. Don't worry, you know that happens once in a while, no helping it. He got up and looked into the distance. Come on, we have more to do. Fluffy followed, thinking to herself. I'm the one who made you suffer the most, and some of that just comes from existing as I do now. I've just been getting it wrong, just been messing it up. I should have figured out how to stop Blood Snatcher in a less poisonous way. I don't want to get it wrong anymore, don't want to screw it up anymore. You're wrong, Taesun, because I can see that you are suffering more than me. You are the one who is confused and suffering inside, about me, about everything that happened. I only wish you'd let me in. I can heal your grievances, not just your wounds. Why must you be scared of something that's just so similar to the most important thing you lost? Me, and your wife, we may be similar, yet you don't use that as an excuse to be with me. You're loyal to her, even after these 12 years. You're what every female would want in a husband, a mate, a significant other. Problem is, there are so few like you out there, and they tend to be snatched up quickly. Kurigakure no Sato. The village of Kurigakure no Sato, one of the 5 great ninja villages, situated in the center of the central island in the land of water, a nation composed of islands, lay before the traveling leaf ninja. Despite being opposite elements, the lands of fire and water had never been at war. Privately, this was due to weakness in the land of fire's navy, and the land of water's army. Publicly, this was never to be spoken about. As the quartet of leaf ninja approached the gates of Kiri, they found their path blocked by a quivering young man. He had blue tufty hair, with nerdy glasses and a blue vest, that held a hiate for Kurigakure on it. A giant wrapped thing with 2 hilts coming out of it. Halt, state your business, he said, not convincingly in a serious manner. Hinata stepped forward, Naruto electing to allow someone with political experience resulting from being a possible clan heir, and being a little less blunt than he was, do the talking. Greetings, I am Hyuga Hinata, Chunin of Konohagakure no Sato. This is Mafu Tayuya, Chunin of Konohagakure no Sato, Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, Jonin of Konohagakure no Sato. The boy blinked. Apparently the appearance of the yellow flash's sun spread fast. And Tenten, Chunin of Konohagakure no Sato, we have been sent by the Godaime Hokage, Tsunade of the Sannin, to speak with your leader, Terumi Mei. The boy nodded. Understood, I'll take you there immediately. This was only the third ninja village Naruto and Tayuya had seen, and the second for Tenten and Hinata, and it was interesting to see how different it was. The village appeared to be a little more worn than Konoha, but then again they had been in a rebellion for quite some time. The village was also apparently in a permanent field of mist, adding a feel of mystery and suspicion. However, the village obviously could also be seen as quite scenic, with the mist adding a feel of hidden danger that shinobi villages really were known for. The tops of the buildings were also covered in lively green plants, no doubt kept alive by the abundant water in the air. Of course, it lost points for having no visible ramen. Tayuya appeared to be curious. Hey, moron, we just passed the Mizukage's office. Naruto looked at her curiously. Wait, how do you know that? She huffed. Duh, the giant fucking water kanji on it. The boy eyed them. Yes, well Mizukage-sama is not there at the present time, but a shadow clone, Naruto sighed. He had heard that virtually all leaders used that method to avoid paperwork. Really, could it be that bad? Hokage's office Tsunade eyed the huge mountains of paperwork, a foe perhaps more annoying than Jiraiya's perverted habits. She flinched. With the deaths of the Shadaime and Nadaime, the Akatsuki, diplomatic recognition and her own attempts to avoid it, the paperwork had reared up on her, and some prankster had locked her in the office with a reinforced lock meant for deep underwater locks. That just barely held the door intact. She'd blame Naruto if it hadn't happened while he was away. That's it. Damn you paperwork. She chucked her entire desk, paperwork and all, out the window. However, at this point a team of genin had to be delivering a giant trampoline to a civilian's house, that bounced the entire desk back up to the Hokage's office. And somehow, the paper was still all there, defying the laws of physics. Tsunade cried out in anguish and started banging her head into the table. Tsuchikage's office Onoki, the elderly Tsuchikage, found himself glaring at the 4,000 requests to kill the son of the Yellow Flash. He didn't have plans to for a simple reason: his granddaughter liked the boy, and the potential to get some of his genetics loyal to Iwa was too tempting. But still, the paperwork. And to make matters worse, his ink had dried out. Be gone vile paperwork. Dust release. Detachment of the primitive world technique. He formed a glowing, transparent square in his hands, and engulfed the paperwork inside of it, before imploding it. Dust release was one of the most feared jutsu types in the shinobi world. Akeke Tota, the release ground its targets into atoms before disintegrating them. However, it was all still there. Curse you Yellow Flash, somehow. And you too, mother. Onoki's ancient and still alive mother was a bane beyond even the Yellow Flash. Raikage's office A. The Raikage finally was relaxing his way. That meant pumping irons the weight of 2 Akamaki and a bear combined, on each side. He had finally gotten through the paperwork, and with his brother dealing with a giant worm of some sorts that could spout fire, acid and high-pressured water, he wasn't around to cause some sort of trouble. Thus, his paperwork bane was gone, or so he thought. However, in a flash of light, a huge stack of paperwork appeared on his desk. He flinched. Mabui. What the hell is all of this? Did my idiot brother? He was interrupted by yet another huge stack of paper. I'm sorry, Raikage-sama, but it's not Killer B-san's fault this time, but Yugito-san's. It appears as though a few teenagers had snuck a peek at Yugito-san while she and Samui-san were at the local hot springs, and they found themselves burnt to a crisp by the nibby. So what? She was perfectly in her rights to do that. What's with all the paperwork then? For some idiot civilians, more paperwork then appeared. Perhaps having an assistant who could transfer things to you at the speed of light was a bad idea. It appears the 5 boys she fried were the sons of the daimyo to the lands of lemmings, coral, asparagus, newts and cabbages. Oh, and even the daimyo has sent you a message for the political headache this will give him. Another, even larger stack appeared. The Raikage flinched. That's it, I'm taking a vacation. He did a rather good impression of his brother, as he smashed through the window of his 10-story building and ran for the hills. The secretary sighed. He did it again. Get the Raikage window budget money. And get a squad to track him down. Back to Naruto, he honestly couldn't see why the cages all seemed to be work dodgers. Of course, unlike Konoha's Godaime, she wasn't at a bar or something. Instead, she was sitting in a corner, reading a book on romantic advice of all things. Yuya glared at the cage. Why did this red-haired bitch get the boobs? They were practically Tsunade's size, and probably more genuine, and she was a hell of a lot younger than the old bat. The Mizukage had red hair, sort of looking like an evergreen tree as it went long along her back. She was wearing a blue dress that did a lot more to show off her stuff than Tsunade did. All in all, she looked more like a Ika character come to life than a cage. Mizukage-sama, the boy said nervously. She looked up from her book, before hiding it. Chojuro. She eyed the leaf nin. Oh, I see. Tsunade Dono must have sent you. Thank you, Chojuro-kun, that will be all. He nodded nervously. Yes, he shushined away, leaving the quartet of leaf ninjas alone with the Mizukage. She sighed. So, may I ask why you have come? She smiled. It's not like the Hokage to send an emissary all the way out here for a small matter. Naruto decided it was time to take charge, after all wasn't he leading the mission? Yes, I bear a message from the Hokage, Tsunade Bachan. Hinata sighed and Mei chuckled. Huh, what's so funny? Naruto asked curiously. Yuya glared at him. Don't call the old hag a grandma formally. Yuya sighed. Naruto blushed. Sorry, force of habit, he chuckled. Mei's smile changed to that of a smirk. Cute and funny. Oh, if only I was younger. Oh, just relax, I'm not going to kill you. I happen to like a bit of humor in a man once in a while. They are so drab here. She looked away. Naruto blushed, and the girls went on, prepare to kill girl flirting with boyfriend, mode. She smiled. Oh, relax, I'm not a cougar, though shame really, he looks as though he'd be as handsome as his father was. Naruto blinked in confusion, shock, and minor horror. Great, a dad admirer. She kept on smiling. It was almost as creepy as Sai's smile, but this one was genuine. Well, we were sent to tell you that the government of Konohagakure no Sato has recognized your new government's existence and rule of Kurigakure no Sato and is open to diplomatic channels. That was official enough, right, Hinata-chan? She nodded. Mei nodded. You may send my thanks back to Tsunade Dono. Now I do believe you should get home. I believe you have a few ladies besides these. The other stared at her in shock as she chuckled. Oh, you don't think I wouldn't know about the Yellow Flash and his CRA? Trust me, I know, and I can tell even just the three right here care about you a lot. She sighed sadly. Why don't I have that, someone who cares about me that deeply? Is that so hard to find? I mean 30 and I'm still a virgin. Naruto blinked. Since when did Tenten like him? Tenten was blushing, and the looks from Hinata and Yuya weren't helping. Oh Naruto-kun, why do you have to be so likable? Damn, another girl, really, can't I just get my fucking man without more bitches after him? Why must girls be so crazy about him? Crap, they know, I'm screwed. Stupid old hag. A dark look crossed the Mizukage's face. Who just called me old? Tenten was freaking out, before she was saved by a rapidly running Mizunin. Mizukage-sama, Mizukage-sama. The ninja panted. Message from the Anbu stationed around the Sanbi's lake, unknown intruders are attacking it. Mei stood up abruptly. They appear to be from Otogakure. Orochimaru. Yuya growled. Mei eyed the Konoha ninja. Prepare a squad to follow me, just in case. Meanwhile, seeing as Orochimaru was a leaf ninja, they will come with me. After all, if they took down the Oto ninja, and got secrets on the snake ninja, that could cause a stink with Konoha. And as the only village recognizing them right now, they couldn't risk that. Yes, Mizukage-sama, follow me, she told the leaf ninja, who followed her immediately. Meanwhile, at the lake a giant conduit, made of crystal, stemmed from the immobilized monster turtle and into the hold of the orange-haired boy. The Sanbi, not fully in control of itself from the Sharingan control a while back and still recovering, had been trapped with difficulty in combination of Guren's crystal release and the Yukimaru's Sanbi controlling dojutsu. "Ready, Jugo?" she asked the boy, who nodded. Guren then pressed her palms into the crystal while channeling chakra directly from her own curse seal. "Commence." The Sanbi roared as its chakra was sucked out, before mixing with her own, and then to Jugo's. As the originator of the curse seal, Jugo was able to fine-tune the mutating chakra, as it mixed with the reviving properties of the Bu chakra, as a dark shape took form in the crystal, before growing larger, and larger, and bursting out of it. I live. Ku. Chapter 64. Planning ahead, May's heart. Land of Lightning Taesoon and Fluffy were on the move once again, doing whatever their little plan was, when Taesoon stopped all of a sudden. He turned around and gave Fluffy a look. What? Wait, when did you pick up Zabuza's sword? And for that matter, what other souvenirs did you pick up? Fluffy chuckled nervously. "Oh Tycoon, you know me, I'd never do something as silly as picking up a lot of random junk." Of course, her hidden ceiling scroll, filled with her hidden junk, chose this point to burst open. After all, even scrolls had a set carrying capacity. And her scroll was now busted, and the tons of junk she had collected was now piled on top of Taesoon. "Ow, Fluffy," he yelled, as he struggled to get out of the pile of junk, before shaking his head. "Honestly, do I want to know where you picked all of this up? And wait, those are the same. Fluffy," he groaned. "Where do you get it from?" He looked around, and noticed 5 pairs of duplicate swords that Fluffy had at some point snatched. A blue hand-and-a-half sword, that if chakra was focused into it, the sword caught on fire and remained in such a state, can only be activated by its wielder and thus deactivated. A sliver one-handed sword that could absorb attack energies and strike the foe with his own attacks, though only one energy could be absorbed at once. A bronze hand-and-a-half sword, that could return to the user if lost and could take the form of a pen if not in use, the pen able to use ink. A two-handed sword made of fine steel able to divide into 6 smaller, separate swords and recombine into the single blade at the user's will. A long black sword that changes its form based on the user's spiritual makeup of their chakra. Taesoon sighed. "Oh, so you only picked up 5 duplicates, I'm surprised. Well then, what to do with everything?" Fluffy had wide eyes. "Hey, wait, I picked this stuff up for Naruto." Taesoon rose an eyebrow. "Yes, and what about the people who own them?" She shrugged. "Oh, they only come from the dead ones," Taesoon sighed. "What am I going to do with you? And the extra swords? I wonder if Kumo wants their own Swordsman of the Mist squad. Does the 5 swordsmen of the clouds sound catchy? Though, I'm never letting you leave my sight. Wait, where did you go?" Fluffy had vamoosed at some point. Why did she have to get the worst traits? Sanbi Lake. The 5, Naruto, Tenten, Hinata, Tayuya and Mei landed by the lake with the aid of the body flicker technique, to a horrifying sight. "Orochimaru!" Naruto yelled out in shock. The snake Sanin chuckled. Ku. Yes, it is I, Naruto-kun. And, Tayuya-chan, how nice to see you. Is it suspect that you're no longer playing on my team?" he said innocently, as the redhead glared at him. "Duh, you dumb." Guren glanced at Yukimaru. "Please lay off the swearing, Tayuya-san, there is a child present." Tayuya flinched. Tayuya-san, who's the purple-haired lady?" Tenten asked nervously. Tayuya continued to look at Guren. "Guren-san is the most powerful of Orochimaru Tems." Guren moved from a smile to a frown. "Subordinates, she makes Kabuto Tem, back to a smile, look like a weakling. Don't know much else, and that red-haired nut over there, not sure." Jugo frowned, before eyeing Tayuya. "So, another of my copies," he frowned. Naruto frowned. "Copies?" Orochimaru grinned widely. "Now, I'd just love to stay for a while, but I really should be going. But first, I really should take the turtle with me, and while I'm at it," he eyed Naruto like a piece of meat, greatly disturbing the boy. Tayuya then drew out her flute. "Back off, you pedophile," Tayuya yelled, before striking the ground. Summoning Jutsu. The three Doki appeared in a poof of smoke before charging at the snake Sanin, before he chuckled. How bold, but so foolish, striking shadow snake hands. Snakes flew from his sleeves, before biting into the Doki, who poofed into logs. Oh, a substitution, not bad. The Doki appeared above the Sanin and slammed down towards him, before a wall of crystal formed around the Sanin blocking the attack. What the? Gurren smirked at Tayuya's exclamation. So, I see your information on me lacks a few details. Crystal release, hexagonal shuriken technique. Gurren launched a barrage of snowflake-like shuriken straight at them. Hinata's eyes were wide. Crystal release, just like Naruto-kun. Water release, water encampment wall. Mei spat out a torrent of water, blocking the shurikens. Orochimaru appeared interested. Not bad, it looks like this could be fun, Jugo-kun if you would. Jugo nodded, as a fiery array of marks began to cover part of his face. Tayuya blinked. The curse seal, he's the original source. Fuck. Language, Gurren sighed, before looking up to Yukimaru. Gurren had met Yukimaru after Orochimaru's death, and had been with him for a while. Oddly, they had started a kind relationship, almost like family. Yukimaru-kun, please try to stay safe, and keep the turtle there, she asked, before she joined the fight. Naruto versus Jugo, prepare to die. Jugo laughed maniacally as his arm formed into a axe-like form. Naruto was disturbed. He was totally different than before, and he couldn't help but wonder if Tayuya could do that. Lightning release, shock palm. Naruto slammed his hand into the blunt side of the axe, sending a shockwave into Jugo. Nothing really seemed to come of it. Weak. The arm morphed into a mace-like thing, the spikes forcing Naruto to back off. He was also a little confused. He had been hoping his seal would affect him like it did Tayuya, but no luck I guess. Die. Jugo morphed his arm into a jet fist and smashed it into the ground, uprooting hundreds of rocks with a force sort of like a weaker Tsunade. Naruto was thrust into the air by the sheer force. I'll kill you. Jugo morphed his arm into a lance-like thing and lunged at Naruto. However, Naruto wasn't done yet. Teleport. Teleport rush. Naruto vanished in a yellow flash, before appearing behind Jugo, and striking him into the air. He tried to strike back, but Naruto warped again and smashed him in the head with a drop kick. This sent Jugo flying to the ground, before his leg was affected by his curse, body seal thing, where it morphed into a spring and surged back forward. What? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Die. His arm was a lance once again. Naruto did the hand signs for scorch release, heat wave. A surge of heat was sent at Jugo, who while panting from the heat, wasn't hindered. However, as he tried to strike Naruto, Naruto grabbed his now sweaty lance and slid down it like a pole. Hot. What? Ha. Naruto was now behind him. Lightning release. 1,000 years of death. Naruto's sparking fingers struck, but nothing happened as Naruto disengaged it. What the hell, is this guy a tank? Jugo turned around, and morphed his hand into a giant smash fist. Failure. Die. Naruto, thinking fast, formed a Rasengan in his hands without a shadow clone. While not complete, it had given him an idea. Rasengan palm. The two fist attacks collided, exploding with equal power as both were sent back to the ground. Gurren versus Mei. The two females found themselves staring one another down, a catfight imminent. So, you're the new Mizukage, huh? They must be playing on the swimsuit calendar issues to keep them afloat. Mei had a dark look in her eyes. What did you just say? Gurren smirked. Oh, only the truth. You're only the Mizukage because of those oversized weights on your chest. Probably just slept your way to the top. That ticked a bell. She hadn't slept with anyone. Lava release. Lava spout. Spewing from her mouth was a great spout of lava, prepared to engulf Gurren. However, she wasn't about to be fried. Crystal release. Crystal encampment wall. A wall of crystal formed around Gurren, blocking the torrent of lava. She grinned. Oh, I see it now. You couldn't sleep with anyone because they are all afraid of you melting them with a kiss. Mei twitched. That was sort of true. Really, she melted one pervert who groped her, and all of a sudden she's untouchable. So then, did I manage to strike a nerve? Gurren laughed. Mei's gaze darkened. Marriage. Oh, well, I'm sorry if I can't help but strike the nerves of top-heavy bimbos. Can't marriage. Fire release. Dragon flame jutsu. A burst of fire spewed from Mei's mouth at the crystal user, who again used a crystal wall to block it. Try all you want, old hag, but my crystal can't be burnt away. Gurren laughed. I'd really love to see you actually do something. This is actually rather boring. Mizukage indeed, what a joke. I'd love a better foe to fight than you. Those who can't marriage, joke. Mei kept hearing worse and worse things, until she finally snapped. Shut up, you flatchested little. Lava release. Lava dome. Spewing out more lava, the two were trapped inside a giant dome of hardened black lava. Gurren eyed the lava with a worried tone. What, you're going to trap me in here so people don't hear about your faults? Mei glared at her. No, it's so I can do this. Boil release, melting apparition technique. From her mouth, Mei spewed out a corrosive mist, filling the dome. Gurren blinked. 2. Keke, Genkai. This could be tougher than I thought. Crystal began to grow over Gurren's skin. Crystal release. Crystal armor. Using the crystal to avoid getting burnt, the two females began to duel it out. Orochimaru versus the rest of the girls. The snake Sannin grinned, while the trio around him prepared to attack. Ha! A Fuma shuriken flew at him from Tenten, an attack that the Sannin caught with one hand. Is that all you have? Ku, wind release, 8 trigrams air palm. A wind-blasted air palm flew at the Sannin, who had previously been distracted, dodged by bending his body downwards with disturbing levels of flexibility. Yuck! Hinata groaned. So, are you going to actually hit me? Or, is this going to be a boring fight? Oh well, I hope I can actually be entertained. The Sannin didn't seem to acknowledge the 3 doki about to smash into him. Notice this. The doki slammed into the Sannin, creating a dust cloud, with puffs inside of it. As it cleared, Orochimaru remained, alone with the sword of Kusanagi in hand. Interesting. Not a bad strategy, but otherwise futile. Try so much harder. Wind release. Great breakthrough. A burst of wind spewed from the Sannin's mouth towards the girls, leaving a furrow in its wake. The girls avoided the attack before going on their own counteroffensive, with a glowing Hinata. Aurora release. Boreal lightshow. Bright lights flew at the snake Sannin, who dodged them easily, before they changed direction as well and flew at him. Homing. Awesome. Tenten beamed. Orochimaru smirked. This is getting a little interesting now. He drew the sword, and sliced into a boreal lightshow laser, slicing it in half. Dodging more of them, he sliced the rest of them down. Ha! A storm of shuriken flew at him in addition to the still around boreals. Several managed to strike him. Hell yeah! Tayuya smirked, before the Orochimaru poofed into smoke. Shadow clone. Damn! Tayuya groaned, before she felt something grab her leg. It was Orochimaru, from underground, in the double suicide decapitation technique. Let go of me, pedophile! She yelled, before he dragged her below. Dotted he above with the sword of Kusanagi. Prepare to die, traitor! He raised his sword, before he felt an impact into him. 8 trigrams, 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms. He was knocked out of the way via the attack as Hinata and Tenten went to pull their friend out. Tayuya sighed. Thanks. Orochimaru rose up and laughed. Oh, that tickled. Multiple striking shadow snake hands. A huge armada of snakes flew at the trio, as Tenten drew her sword. Earth release. Earth blade. Tenten began to slice the snakes away, while chucking kunai and shuriken to block further ones. Fire release. Phoenix Sage fire technique. Tayuya sent dozens of flames flying at the snakes, setting dozens of them on fire. With the serpents cleared, Hinata was able to charge straight at Orochimaru, with 2 lightning release, gentle fists. Ha! Orochimaru was impacted with the electrically charged attack, before he poofed away once again. Hinata sighed. Really? That's only cool when Naruto-kun does it. Tenten grimaced. Of course. Then Orochimaru appeared on top of the Sanbi. Meanwhile, Naruto had trapped Jugo in a wood release, maple binding branches, while Mei and Gurren were now out of the lava dome and firing various fire attacks and crystals at one another. Fire release. Phoenix wave surge. Crystal release. Tearing crystal falling dragon, the two attacks collided. Oh, Yukimaru-kun, could you be a dear, and get our little pet here to charge up a tailed beast ball? I do believe a few pests are here that need to be taken care of, he smiled. Yukimaru looked confused. But, Guren-san, Jugo-san, Orochimaru chuckled. Sometimes, in the game of life, you have to sacrifice a few pieces. Guren heard this, and froze. She was being abandoned. Yukimaru's eyes hardened. No. Orochimaru looked at him oddly. What? No. Yukimaru yelled. However, this had the side effect of messing up his control of the beast, which began to break. The great monster began roaring, shaking, and all in all messing up any stability. Yukimaru's eyes went wide as the beast managed to force the boy into the water. Yukimaru-kun. Guren yelled out, diving into the water after the boy. Mei blinked. Even if someone insulted a jerk, did she really want to have it on her conscience the death of a little boy? Tenten, Hinata, Chiyuya and Naruto appeared to have similar views, as Naruto created a few shadow clones. Water release. Water dragon bullet technique. Aurora release. Boreal Lightshow. Fire release. Phoenix wave surge. Storm release. Phantom surge. Aura release. Aura sphere. Lava release. Faithful blast surge. The combined moves slammed into the Sanbi, knocking it back away from Guren and Yukimaru. Orochimaru, who had also escaped, sighed. Oh, how delightful. His body flickered away, as Yukimaru was pulled to shore by a crying Guren. He abandoned me. Why? She looked confused. What did I do wrong? Could Mei stay mad at her? Not really. She placed a hand on Guren's shoulder, but she just shrugged it off. However, Naruto then tried his own thing. Why are crying over him? That snake Tem, if he really cared about you, would never leave you behind. Why cry over that jerk, when you can live for what you already have? Guren heard him. Could he be right? I'm not saying I know why you joined him at all, but obviously you and the boys don't need to stay with him. Find your own place, your own path in life. Guren stopped crying, as Mei chimed her own in. Not bad at all, Naruto-kun, if only I could give speeches like that. The girls glared at her for that suffix. Oh, relax girls, I'm not like that. Guren-san, you obviously are a strong woman, and sadly you don't find a lot of that these days. You were able to fight me, on equal footing. You can go far, and I can take you farther than Orochimaru. If you'd like, you and those two can join Kuritaker, as long as you never call me old or some sort of bimbo again. Jugo rapidly nodded, still bound by trees. Her killer intent behind those words, it's even more than what Kiminaro-san could do. Guren gave a glance down to Yukimaru, who nodded. She smiled. I think that is agreeable. A day later, as the team from Konoha returned to their home, Mei watched them leave through the Mizukage's office window, with a veteran in a blue sweater sort of like Haku's robes and an eye patch behind her. That Naruto-kun, what a person. I've never met someone like him. If only I was younger, she appeared to be thinking, as a smile crossed her lips. That boy, he obviously was going to go far, and if his CRA status was anything to go by, he'd have a few little ones running around. All of them taking after him. If she couldn't have him, who says her kids couldn't? Ao-san, prepare a marriage contract between the Terumi clan and the Namazaku Uzumaki, she said out of nowhere. Ao's eyes went wide. Mizukage-sama, you want to? She chuckled. Oh, not me, but my kids. For you see, I just met the last Namikaze, and he's a quite nice man. And I bet his kids would take after him. We obviously need allies, so why not something of that regard? Ao froze, after hearing the phrase, kids would take after. Mental daimare, an old man, with blue robes and an eye patch, was rocking slowly on a rocking chair, totally relaxed. Finally, after so many years of service, he could finally relax and enjoy his retirement. The rest of his life, after his 60th birthday 10 years ago, has been nothing but peace and quiet. Of course, fate had to go and ruin it. Hey, Ao-san, a voice yelled out, a voice that sent shivers running down his spine. A red-headed beauty, of perhaps the age of 12, with an relatively nice chest for her age being shown off by her tight blue tank top and short shorts revealing her nice legs. She had pretty light green eyes and her red hair covered one of her eyes. It was the genin who was the bane of his existence, Maina Terumi. "So, how's my favorite old person doing?" she said cheerfully. Part of Ao was hoping he'd die immediately. "I'm fine. Now please go away," he begged. Of course, that wasn't going to work. Maina chuckled. "Oh silly, I can't leave. I have a mission, a duty, to make sure you're okay, AD rank," she smiled. Meanwhile, he was trying to remember that heart attack technique. "I'm perfectly fine. Now go away," she smiled. "Are you sure? You have enough old people food?" "Yes, I do. Is your back okay?" He panicked. "Not again." "It's fine, fine. Go away." Maina looked around a little. "Oh, but it's cold in here. Maybe I should warm it up a little. Boil, release, heat up." Immediately, steam was being blown out of Maina's mouth, heating up the room. Of course, Ao was panicking. She had to inherit her mother's techniques, all of them. Fire, water, earth. And not to mention the Kekkei Genkai that came with them, boil and lava. And, of course, she had to try to use them to help him in his old age. The heated water bed attempt alone had been a disaster, and not to mention the hot spring. And, technically she could use wood, if she had the training to, as Kekkei Genkai were related in such a way. Due to that, because fire, water and earth were as strong in her as in her mother, they both could use wood release should they ever get the training. And, horrifyingly enough, that was possible. Images of tree-related horrors filled his mind, chairs with splinters, beds that grew into the roof. "No, I am fine. I like the cold." Maina had a dark look in her eye, before she glared into the elder's eyes, but still smiling. "Hey, I'm on a mission here, so be quiet and let me make sure you're comfortable, or I'll kill you." One daymare later, and that was what went through Ao's mind, as he heard the Mizukage announce a renewed determination to find a nice guy. Or, at least, have a child somehow. After all, having a slender body and Ao only was guessing here, and didn't use his Byukugan to check cough, lie, cough, pervert, as well as an H-cup. You didn't exactly repel guys, thus he did the only logical thing. He ran out of the office at an amazing speed. May blinked, before chuckling. "Oh, that's a sweat, he's going to tell everyone May's on the market. I may just let him live." Meanwhile the weakened Sandy was currently bound, via sharp teeth, by several giant sharks, led by Kisame with Itachi alongside him. "I've really got to thank whoever beat up this thing for us, Itachi-san." A ridge moves Rasengan palm rank. B description: a unrefined Rasengan is made on a palm, before being smashed into a foe. Lava release. Lava spout Kekkei Genkai. B description: a giant wave of lava is spewed from the mouth to incinerate the foe. Lava release. Lava dome Kekkei Genkai. C description: the user creates a dome of lava, trapping him, her and the foe inside. Chapter 65. Perverts, Saviors of the Shinobi Akatsuki Lair. A few days later. "We did it, we did it, we have two-tailed beasts, yay." Toby was dancing on top of a large finger of a giant, creepy statue, with two open eyes. "Yes, it's a start. I can now begin the creation of an army, of white Zetsus, yes. Konoha will burn." "Toby, stop that," Kakuzu growled. Toby eeped and ceased his dance. The problem with being the secret leader of the most powerful criminal ninja in the world, disguised as an idiot, was that no one would take you seriously, or respect you. I do believe that Toby-san does have a point. It is a good thing we have managed to capture these two beasts, and at the same time inconspicuously. The ninja villages have no idea of our role in their disappearances, for they would most likely assume they had killed them themselves, as based off the descriptions of the Sanbi, and the container of the Gobi, Pain covered for his superior, in disguise. "If I may, Leader Sama," Zetsu commented, "I have some disturbing reports from Sunagaker." Pain rose his eyebrows. "What sort of report?" "It appears that Sunagaker has stepped up its security recently. Recently, intelligence reached them from Konohagakure about your involvement. It had been delayed originally due to storms in the desert, however they now know of your involvement with us, Sasori-san." The puppet user grimaced, now in his true form with Hirako smashed. Due to that, they have stepped up security, adding various security measures with high secrecy. I wasn't able to ascertain the exact layout of the new security, however it includes several hundred land mines, a dozen high-grade catapults, and improved water securities. These upgrades appear to stem from the distant continent to the south of the Land of Wind, and the lands on its sea borders, the Land of Coral. Ah, I remember that place, great seafood, Kisame sighed. And the technological city-state of the Land of Nerds, a distant scream of agony from somewhere rang out. Wait, what was that? Itachi looked around in confusion. Indeed, it sounded like someone groaning, like some bad pun or something, Deidara shrugged. Anyway, the continent they imported the new weapons from appears to be a war-torn land, with no chakra manipulation. Hence, the powers that were developed without them. Because of these new weapons, and anything they may have imported since, the village will be difficult to attack. Even Sasori wouldn't be able to help via his familiarity with his home village now. With their security upgrades, we may have to attack the village in full numbers to have a chance, and even so, casualties would be high. What sort of land creates such wonderful things such as land mines without chakra? Deidara commented. In that distant continent a youth stood in the courtyard of a shell-shocked castle, a blonde-haired boy with bright green eyes. With his sword in hand, he did several inkatas of blade work, with fine power and grace, that would impress even Zabuza. Temujin, your presence is requested by Hado-sama. Back from the cameo of the Stone of Gelul. Well then, Kakuzu-san, Tobi-san, continue your efforts to capture the Rokubi. We will have to change our plans for the Ikibi, until next we meet. Hospital, Konoha Jiraiya, stretching his now recovered body, smiled. He was finally out of the hospital, and his mission had been accomplished, as a swirl of mist via the Mist Shushin variant revealed a agitated-looking Ao. I'd rather not be here right now, Ao said seriously. Jiraiya rose an eyebrow. Where would you rather be? At a mixed hot spring. The two shook hands. Brother Ao, what news do you have from the Order? Jiraiya asked. But, perhaps before we go on ahead, an explanation is in order. While Jiraiya was on his spy ring forming after the nine-tailed fox's attack, the ninja world was facing a crisis. The use of shinobi was suffering a downturn, as mercenary use became more common. The youth of the classes able to assign the major C, B, A and S rank missions that really pertained to ninja villages income fantasized the lives of mercenaries, not ninjas. Concerned on this turn of events, the Sandyame appointed Jiraiya to figure out a way to downturn the issue. So, traveling to the Kurigakure, Sunagakure, Kumogakure, Takigakure, Hoshigakure, Kusagakure, and even Iwagakure, Jiraiya formed a brotherhood of ninjas to figure out a solution. Oddly, all of these ninjas shared a similar trait. They were all perverts. And from this, the ninja world's savior was born. The yearly Kunoichi calendar. Each year, the brotherhood would use their various perverse techniques, from shadow clones using the transparent escape technique from Jiraiya's case to his stolen Byukugan in Ao's. They sought out and used the mind photo image technique on the most attractive kunoichi in the villages, while they were unaware and lacking obstructive clothing. Then, with the aid of the ninja photo core of the Land of Nerds, they were edited into images of these hot kunoichi in swimsuits or similar attractive poses while similarly being toned down for distribution to the royal families and similar rich people of the land. Ever since, the ninja world had never had such an issue with being out-competed by mercenaries, and kunoichi found themselves more popular for missions. In fact, putting the right kunoichi on a team got a bonus, though they never told them why. It's a disaster, Brother Jiraiya. Our brothers in the lands and here combined have only gathered 11 suitable images. Jiraiya was livid. What? But I risked my life to get Tsunade and Anko. I even exceeded my quota with Kurenai and Makoto. And I managed to get not only the new Gurren, but also Mei as well, a venture that is perhaps as deadly as Tsunade. However, even with that, our harvest was stunted. Here, Ao showed him the unfinished calendar, with each of the kunoichi edited with their ninja village's logo behind them. January had Samui, who had a snowstorm obscuring her features. February showed Gurren, who had a one suit apparently made of crystal, but darker in the censored parts. March had Anko, covered in snakes in the vital places, fan favorite from the year before Lee's graduating year. April had Tamari leaning back against her fan in a blue one-piece. May, using boil release to create a gas that obscured her features, somewhat first time up, as a rebel leader getting her face out had been too risky. June had Yugito, edited into a cat-themed bikini, fan favorite for 3 of the last 5 years. July had Kuretsuchi, made to have lava covering what couldn't be shown to kids. August had Makoto in a bikini themed after the Sharingan. Before her massacre, she had been the returning favorite from last year's calendar. September had Tsunade, who had been edited into a nurse's outfit. Historically, this was the first time she had been added into the calendar. October had Asuna Kunochi named Maki, a brown-haired girl with markings on her face similar to the Inuzuka, who had her cloth bundle for her techniques stretched out as a swimsuit featured in the last 2 calendars. And November had Kurenai, who had a bikini version of her regular clothing, fan favorite year after massacre of the Uchiha. We need a December, and you're the only member of the Brotherhood left with the ability to find girls in time without missions, or hospital stays, stopping him. We need it within 48 hours, or else the ninja world will go into another depression. Farewell. Ao shushined away. Jiraiya blinked. Okay then. Don't panic, Jiraiya, it's just that the entire fate of the Nina world hangs in the balance. But who to get? He was panicking as he ran towards the hot springs. The mind photo image technique had to be used while viewing the object, or hot lady, in question. Thus, he needed a fresh image, but who? He would start with the Inuzuka woman. But they were out on a training mission with the young male at the moment. They wouldn't be back before it was too late. Perhaps that purple-haired Anbu lady. His eyes widened, the hot springs were closed. Sorry, but the Konoha hot springs are shut down for cleaning. Please come back. Too late, the date was. He was doomed. The ninja world was doomed. Doomed. He blinked, before realizing something. The Gaki's girls. That was it, he had to get them. A harem shot was the perfect Christmas thing. Cuckoo, wait, wrong laugh, never mind. Namikaze residence after, initiating Tenten in, which involved asking the important questions about agreeing the CRA and that she truly loved Naruto, the current in Konoha harem, with Haku and Fu successfully back from their mission, though without the fine wine. Hence why Naruto and an elite unit of Anbu were attempting to steal it right now. How Tsunade get Naruto into that mission, the girls had no idea. How that happened? Bachan, why would I go and do a stupid mission like that? Naruto began, before Tsunade grinned. Because if you don't, I'll give the Naruto fan club the keys to your residence, Naruto groaned in horror. It appeared with Sasuke gone, his fangirls moved on to the next target, the Yondiami's son. It was annoying, hence why it had become a struggle to get his daily ramen these days. You're cruel, Bachan, you really know that, Tsunade smirked. Oh come on Naruto-kun, but now, they were bored, and Naruto less. That was trouble. So, no missions, no Naruto-kun, I'm bored as hell, Chiyuya sighed. Yeah, and I'm not, really supposed to be at home, right now. The truth was, Hinata had no reason to be at the weekly peaking seminar at the Hyuga Manor because she was considered AS class master of it. Stalking Naruto had aided her skills immensely. Hanabi had only just last week gained C class in it, Konohamaru stalking aiding her own skills at it. Well, I've got nothing, Tenten sighed. I had been hoping to hit the hot springs today, but they're closed, Haku grinned. Luckily, Tenten-san, we have our own, Tenten's eyes widened. You have your own? Okay, I'm moving in. One naked dip in hot water in progress as of now. Sighing in content, 6 of Naruto's 9-member unintended harem relaxed in the steamy vapor of the hot spring. Ah, this is divine, Tenten sunk into the water. Fu chuckled. It better be, I dug this with an earth jutsu, and then Haku-san helped connect it to a geothermal site with her procession. Hence, our own, private, and free hot spring. Wish we had this when the Banshee was around, Tenten grumbled. Well, I'm glad that pathetic excuse of a Kunoichi is gone. Just being around her made me feel filthy. Oh, how little they knew of the peeping Jiraiya was happy. Okay, now if I can take a regular image of the Gaki, and have the nerds supplement it, they could do that, it just wasn't as good quality. Hence why they didn't get the Kunoichi images that way, that and the lack of entertainment from it, and let them do their magic. I can see it now, these 6 young babes and one grinning shinobi. The Brotherhood will be pleased, he thought to himself. However, he had missed a detail. Isaribi, while not a ninja, had a few abilities. This included her kaima, or aquatic form, and general human conditioning. But because of her lack of non-generalized skills, she wasn't a ninja, and instead focused on aiding Naruto via housework, something they somehow doubted the fangirls would do. However, she had discovered the technique for steam detection, a technique none of the others would really use because they had techniques to cancel the mist out itself. This detects them, and it was detecting something. Girls, there's a peeping Tom in here, Isaribi yelled, to Jiraiya's horror. How did she detect him? Ice release. Ice imprisonment. Jiraiya felt ice grow along his body, trapping his body in an ice cocoon, saving only his head as he hit the ground hard. Yelp. Hey, it's the pervy sage. Fu yelled. Jiraiya's sweat dropped. Really, do I get any respect? Ice release. B. No, spare me. I had to preserve the shinobi world. They blinked. What sort of crap are you spewing, you fucking bastard? Guess who? Isaribi glared at him. We'll give you 10 seconds. One frantic explanation, several intense minutes of discussion, threats, and oaths later, 48 hours, land of nerds. You did it, brother Jiraiya. The shinobi world is safe, and this may be one of the hottest issues yet. Let's also praise the rest of the order, who continue to ensure the shinobi world's stability. With that, the Kunoichi calendar was published, with December's picture of the Namikaze heir with 6 hot babes in a hot spring generated large amounts of interest in the shinobi market. Thus, Konoha's mission requests went up significantly. Mei also found herself much more popular amongst the males in Kiri and the Land of Water, much to her delight. Though, she still had to melt her third date, who commented on bloodline demons in a negative way, then groped her. Though, much to Naruto's confusion, after his mission was complete, a large amount of people began to refer to him as December's lucky bastard. He also would find himself with a surprising present for his birthday, the calendar in question. Also, Hiyashi found a mysterious invitation to a calendar brotherhood in his mail, with his own subscription to said brotherhood's calendar, with a note from Hinata on top. Mind Photo Image Technique Rank. See description. The user is able to take a mental photo of something via his sight or that of a shadow clones, and with the aid of its creators in the Land of Nerds, a HD photo is created of the mental photo in real life. Steam Detection Technique Rank. D. Description. Senses forms in steam or mist. Ice Release. Ice Imprisonment Kekkei Genkei. B. Description. Binds a foe in ice. Chapter 66. Clouds of War. The lair of the Uchiha. The body of Sasuke continued to cringe, as the possessor Uchiha couldn't help but grin. Soon, that boy will be gone and I'll have full control of this new body. Then, that former teammate of mine will get his and Fluffy will be mine, he brooded. Fluffy contained within her a great power, a power he sought as his birthright, a power long stolen by the Uzumaki from the Uchiha. At the same time, at a more personal note, she was precious to Taesun. While not romantically, she was his steadfast friend and ally. At the same time, she was a remnant of the most precious thing to him. Of course, he had a perfect plan to destroy him this time. For now, ever since the age of 9 when he possessed the boy's body, he had absorbed all of his jutsu arsenal, and combined it with his own, including Susanoo. With that power, and his little hack on the demonic statue of the outer path that housed the tailed beasts restrained by the Akatsuki, Susanoo's chakra strain would be lessened, allowing for its longer use. And once those fools obtained even more of them, he would become unbeatable. After all, Uzumaki would never attempt the jutsu he used to destroy his servant the last time. Speaking of which, he hoped she got back from her mission soon. He had a hard-on. After all, the thought of seeing the accursed villages all burn to the ground aroused him. And even if he failed, the Rokubi would end up in the hands of the Akatsuki, which would benefit him just as well. Hokage's office, a few days later. After all the effort it took to get her fancy wine, that somehow got spoiled by salt water during the transfer, Tsunade had finally given up. Now in a somewhat bad mood, she and Danzo, to her annoyance, found themselves with Naruto, Tayuya, Hinata, Fu, Haku and Tenten. Alright, we have a S rank mission of utmost severity, that if not handled could lead to a fourth Shinobi World War. The gathered team was shocked. What? Tsunade stared off into the window. Recently, it appears as though an unnamed thief, or group of them, infiltrated both Kumogakure and Iwagakure, stealing the scroll of Kinjutsu, which is their version of the scroll of seals, from Iwa and 5 powerful swords from Kumo. Each side has small evidences pointing to one another, and if war erupts, we will be caught in the crossfire. Like hell we'd be, we're dead smack in between the both of them, Chiyuya grumbled. Thus, we need to douse the flames of war immediately, before everyone is caught in the inferno, Danzo said poetically, though, I may remind you that I was the one who got this information. A team of root in each of the nearly wearing villages hadn't gotten the change in orders, their messenger birds being shot down for bird hunting season and eaten by a larger bird on the 2 attempts at communication previous. Tsunade glared at him. Gloat all you want, but we need to find whoever stole them and see them apprehended. I've already sent a message to Suna, as well as Taki, Kusa and Kiri, both have teams of ninja on the alert in case these items find their way there. We can't allow a fourth war to occur. But still, we can't risk leaving an avenue for invasion should this fail. I have already sent several forces of ninja to the likely invasion points, should they occur, Danzo commented. Tsunade had been forced to allow his input in the devising of the battle plans. After all, his root had gathered a lot of intelligence, and he had a bit more strategy planning than hers, though she didn't leave the place defenseless, just in case he did have a scheme. At Konoha she left several capable ninja, including Shizune, Hayate, Kosuke Maruboshi, Dan, the genin who had not graduated in Iruka. Deployed to several locations were the rest on the border of the Land of Frost included Kakashi, Chusa, Shikaku, Inochi, Genma, Azumo, Kotestu, Shiruko Aburame, Hana and Rado. The border of Kusa had Sume, Yugo, Makoto, Tenzo, Fugaku, Shikamaru, Shino, Torun, Fu of Root, Jiraiya and Shibi. And at the AIM border were Gai, Lee, Neji, Hiyashi, Kurenai, Asuma, Anko, Miu, Ranka, Zaji and Tokuma Hyuga. Hurry! Forest outside Tsuchigumo clan's stronghold. A standoff had occurred here, but not between the 2 tense nations, but between the forces of Iwa, with Utakata along them, against 2 members of the Akatsuki. Sir, a Iwa censor ninja yelled, Kumo forces approaching from the north. Iwagakure no Sato. Flashback, Tsuchikage-sama, I insist we need to move straight through the Land of Fire to deal with those Kumo scum, a ninja rang out. The elderly Tsuchikage shook his head. That is something foolish, even if it saves time, that will only engulf the Land of Fire into the war, and I don't want to risk having 2 fronts. Because of you ingrates, we only have 1 Jinchuriki, he motioned to Roshi, who stood beside him, along with Kuretsuchi and a large man behind him named Akatsuchi. Innerly, he was cursing the fact that he couldn't give Roshi the job. He was worthy, but no, the citizens wouldn't accept him, and several shinobi had doubts of him as well. An old pillar that had support was stronger than a new one without it. Now, because of that, we are going against the 10 tails of power in Kumo with only 4 of our own, and let's not forget that Konoha has 16 tails. For that reason, we need another Jinchuriki to balance the scales. Han is gone. He glared at the not guilty-looking shinobi below him. Suna is allied to Konoha, and thus the Aikibi, and even if we could find the Sanbi, we couldn't use its power quickly enough. Thus, we will detour to enlist the aid of the Rokubi Jinchuriki, a Rouge ninja from Kiri. End flashback. A team, including Roshi, Kuretsuchi, Akatsuchi and Onoki, who sadly had to be carried by Akatsuchi because of his back, sought Utakata to ask for his aid, but instead found him being attacked by the 2 Akatsuki, Kakuzu and this, Tobi character. Battle flashback. Give it up, Rokubi. You have nowhere to run. Kakuzu glared into the form of the bubble using Jinchuriki. He and Tobi had cornered him in the woods, where he had been relaxing, and avoiding Hotaru, who kept clamoring for him to be her sensei, a title he wouldn't take on, ever. Senseis didn't help, they only tried to kill their students. No, I'm afraid that won't be happening. Being taken by you finger-painted weirdos, and killed for some odd reason, isn't on my agenda in life. He blew into his bubble blower, water release, exploding bubble technique. Dozens of bubbles flew at the 2 Akatsuki, mostly at Kakuzu but one around Toby. Oh, pretty bubble. Wait, it's a jutsu. Toby should pop it to cancel it before it hits. Cammy, why do I have to play an idiot? Toby popped his bubble, that exploded with a Deidara-like force, sending Toby flying into a tree branch, his legs going right through branch trapping him in it. Kakuzu dodged his bubble bombs. Honestly, you are pathetic. I almost miss Hidan, Kakuzu groaned. Ha ha, you fool. You allowed me to enter the perfect opportunity to use my hidden jutsu. The cloak of his uniform slid down, sort of forming a frill around his head. Hidden jutsu, frilled neck lizard. Kakuzu and Utakata sweat dropped. Really? He summoned his new fire mask, now that he had gotten replacements for his lost ones. Fire release. Intelligence hard work. The fire attack blasted into the tree, sending Toby into the skies, flapping like a bird, as Kakuzu activated Earth Spear and flew at Utakata with a hardened fist. Water release. Protective bubble dome. A huge bubble formed around Utakata, blocking the attack from Kakuzu with surprising resilience. So, it appears your 50 million Ryo bounty on you is accurate, Kakuzu commented. Few ninjas had a larger bounty. Naruto had a similar amount, and Jiraiya, Tsunade, Orochimaru, Hiruzen, the unknown leader of Root, Danzo, Killer Bee, Ao, and the members of the Akatsuki had higher ones, among others. Kakuzu wondered if his 60 million Ryo bounty was still active. Wait, I am ready to take him out. Ow, this will hurt. Toby fell down from the skies above, with a flopping belly flop. Belly flop no jutsu. Toby flew down towards Utakata, before he found himself trapped in a transparent square. What the? Kakuzu gasped. That technique, could it be the old Tsuchikage, with the 55 million Ryo bounty on him from gangs in the land of Earth who the shinobi under his command had busted? Dust release. Detachment of the primitive world technique. The square imploded, blasting Toby out of existence, as Utakata and Kakuzu gazed the approaching detachment of Iwa nins, many of them with bounties on their heads. Akatsuchi, 15 million Ryo for eating out an entire buffet's selection to win Iwa Ancient Scroll of Jutsu. Iwa Ninja, talk about your Deus Ex Machina, no. Utakata commented. Onoki, from his meaty perch, glared at the Akatsuki. So, you're an Akatsuki. Then tell me, do you have my grandson, Han? Kakuzu grinned. We did, but his body isn't exactly used to us now. Onoki's eyes were wide, though some of the Iwa nin behind him seemed happy about the news. How dare you, fiend! I will grind your bones to molecules, before I do it anyone with a grin on their faces right now. That stopped the happiness. Da, Toba's world. Toby yelled out, flying above the Iwa nin, Onoki, he's still alive. I thought he'd retired, or had a heart failure. Damn, I can't allow him to live, thus all must die here, aside for the Rokubi, who will die soon enough. Kakuzu was annoyed. Why can I never have a partner who will die easily? Onoki glared at the odd man. Whoever you are, you will die here for being a part of the Akatsuki, fire release, dragon flame jutsu. Onoki leapt off his mount and activated his flight technique, before breathing in deeply. He then exhaled, allowing the dragon made of flames to fly from Onoki's mouth straight at Toby, who dodged it somehow after being hit dead on, before drawing out two staffs, one with a marshmallow on the end, the other a hot dog. Hidden jutsu, campfire technique. He used the dragon flame to roast both, and tossed them at the Iwa nin like javelins, that Akatsuchi promptly ate. Great, the Iwa have themselves a Suedo Akamaiki on their hands. A ridge moves belly flop no jutsu rank. Description. A Toby jutsu involving a simple belly flop on a foe. Hidden jutsu. Campfire technique rank. Description. A Toby jutsu that roasts a hot dog and a marshmallow on sticks before tossing them at the foe. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as well as checking out the author on fanfiction.net.